Here. Councilperson Price. Here. Councilperson Linder. Here. Councilperson Ladar. Here. Mayor Lewis.
Here.
All right. Would anybody like to offer an invocation? If you'd like, please rise.
I'm John Lehman, Ecumenical Officer from Holy Trinity Catholic Church here in Columbia Borough. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. We pray, O Lord, for all those in our community who are responsible for our civic welfare, health, and security. Guide our counsel that they may have a care for only that will promote good government, and to all others in positions of responsibility, give such a sense of duty that no self-interest shall turn them from it. We also remember before you those who are employed in our service in dangerous or lowly work. For we are all members one of another, and all our labor is honorable in your sight. Help us, Lord, each one to do well the work you have to do for the good of all. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Amen.
Oh, who's there? Where am I at even? Paula, please lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of executive and information sessions, there were none. Additions, deletions, or reorganization of the agenda. You need to remove item 7A, minutes for approval. The minutes were not included in the packet, so we need to pull that off the agenda. Is there anything else that we need to add or remove? All right. Could I have a motion to approve the reorganized agenda?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the reorganized agenda. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Citizen comment, non-agenda items only. The first sign-up we have is Pastor Wayne Scott.
He just left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, that was John Lehman that left.
yeah. He is here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's for the actually tabernacle discussion?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, then that's the agenda, so we won't do that. We'll save it till the, thank you, sorry, I didn't.
No worries, thank you. Thanks, Chief.
All right, presentation and acceptance of reports, community development.
I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the zoning and planning reports for June 2023, and I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the county budget report for June 2023. Chris, would you like a minute?
I would. A minute. Where's the timer at?
Oh, it's in my backpack, I'm not getting it out, I'm sorry.
I just want to remind the councilmen and councilwomen that we are hosting the Lancaster County Borough Association dinner over here at the Market House. So hopefully everybody will attend. We're going to have good food, good spirits. We definitely want to get all these other boroughs a little tipsy so we can tell them how good we are in this town. But we are going to be I'll be doing like a history lesson for them, tell them how historic we are, and then we'll be doing a dungeon tour after that. So it'll be a good food and everything like that. So mark that on your calendar. I've been dealing with Mike Hessian out of Denver Borough.
He's a good
Real nice guy, really good
He's
guy.
a real guy.
Yep. He said, spend what you got to spend. He told me to spend what I got to spend to make it a good night. So, also, I signed a big with McGraw-Hill, a big educational company. on Thursday, August 3rd. That's huge. There's over 50-plus school districts coming to town for a big seminar over here at the Market House. That's a big signing. It was me against 3 other locations in the state. They picked us. We'll actually be doing all the food, the breakfast, and the dinner for them. That was a big sign for me. I worked hard. And also I've been talking to the Edible Classroom, Grace Julian. We're going to actually be selling, the kids are going to come down in October and sell pumpkins at the Market House. I thought it was a great idea, so I'm going to start working with them a little bit more. I know they're going to start working in middle school. I know they're putting a garden up there. And also I just spoke with Robin Gamby about Extraordinary Give, possibly hosting that over here this year with all the nonprofits, whoever want to jump in there and host it over here at the Market House. So, good things. Is there any questions or anything like that?
Just congratulations on the Grand Mountain.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
And the lady, they're coming down to take a look. But yeah, that's a huge draw for Columbia, especially with everybody. They're coming as far as Wilkes-Barre, so good deal. So, and Zion Hill, we got a $2,000 grant for that, and so we're still working on Zion Hill, just to add that into it. So, all right. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I do have a question on the planning and zoning report. There is a note that a CLG grant application was approved in the amount of $20,000 to resurvey the historic district. Is there a match for that?
No.
Okay.
That was underneath that master grant application that the council approved a while ago. So we're starting to go through and we're going to resurvey the entire historic district. A big part of that is just updating the information, but also getting it in a digital format so it'll be available through GIS, so we can put it in CS data and we'll give the data to the county as well as to the state. So.
Public Works and Property.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the Public Works and Property Report for June 2023. And I just wanted to point out a few items of good news. First being that we're going to get a milling and overlay on the affected areas of 462 from Cherry Street to Malleable Road.
Curb to curb? Or
Jake?
I'm going to say the affected areas.
okay.
Probably center line to curb point, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly because it's state roads. So they have.
Yeah.
Yep. And the recycling grant. Good news, we got awarded the $350,000 for the new Peterson waste grinder. Yep. And yeah. Yep, that's it. Any questions?
No, I would also like to mention that our Public Works manager did a good job yesterday helping our parking enforcement officer, Perry Hauser, rescue a dog from a fence. Even though it was Jake Abraham, we all know it's Jake Abraham. So, good job on that.
His alter ego
Yeah.
rescue.
Yeah. All right, and safety, communications.
Thank you, President Zink. I would like to acknowledge the acceptance and the receipt of the public safety reports for June 2023, including the Columbia Borough Police Department, Penn State Health Lifeline, Code Compliance Report, and the NOC report. Fire report is forthcoming. Also like to share that we're all aware that we have a new mobile EOC, and right now it's being outfitted and covered with some really awesome, professional, well-branded graphics. And we're all very excited to reveal it to the public. The plan is to have available for the public to see and look at, walk through, touch, taste, and smell if you're so inclined. On a National Night Out, August 1st, 5 to 8. And I think our National Night Out is at Gladfellow Field again, correct?
6 o'clock.
I'm sorry. 6 to 8. That's all I have.
There's no presentations. Mayor Lutz, Chief Brommer.
Exactly.
Thanks, Adam.
I'm gonna open the report from somebody else, but to me, it's important, it needs to be talked about. Last evening, we had a land bank meeting. I don't know what the meeting is going to take now, but it was one of the better land bank meetings I had attended for a while. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you may have all got this condemnation report, and I remarked about it last night, and to those who were involved in putting that together, thank you very much again for putting that together. As a result of this report last night, we picked out 2 more properties, right, Heather? Yep. That we're going to look at to try to get into the land bank. And we had discussion on 3 or 4 other properties about moving them along. And to Paula's credit, this was a great piece. They're doing a good job. The questions we had were answered. And I think this and bringing this up at each land bank meeting is going to trim this list down considerably, and along with the other things that the code enforcement department is doing. So I think I'm starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel on this issue. So to all involved, thank you. I'll toss it over to the chief.
The police department is excited to announce that Jack Hoff, our newest patrol officer, will graduate from the police academy this Friday. So there will be a number of us in attendance, but he did a wonderful job throughout the academy. I was given periodic updates on his progress, and we're excited to get him on the street and into training. Thank you.
All right. Next, 11A, action items. Could I have a motion to approve the bill payments?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl to approve the bill payments. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
I just have one on the text my gov thing. There was is that just a one-time thing?
It's an annual renewal.
Annual renewal. Had we already paid something to initiate that where we were at?
We paid for the first year, and then during the first year, we did have to add additional text messages to that. We used up all of ours, so this will be the 3rd invoice for the season.
Okay, thank you.
You do get a lot of text messages.
Yeah, I told staff that this is, to me, that's money well spent. So if we have to add them in badges to keep our community well informed, then it's worth it.
Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns on bill payments? No? Could I have, I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl to approve the bill payments. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Next, new business. I have a motion to, we have a request to authorize the borough staff to purchase portable radios using the police radio contract. Mark, you want to go ahead and discuss this?
So, council approved this before at the June 13th meeting. Chief worked hard to get us on a really good contract to upgrade the radios for the police department. And as we were talking, we realized that it's probably a good idea that we keep the equipment consistent between Public Works, Code Department has some, the emergency manager has 2 radios for his mobile trailer, which will be revealed soon. So we're getting the same radios with the same deal that the chief has. These will also be dual band radios that would allow like our Public Works crew to talk to York County should there be joint events, we're doing things, we need to close the bridge, we need to talk, they can communicate back and forth. So we're asking permission to purchase 9 radios with the price not to exceed $26,000. It still keeps us within the budgeted amount of $125. Just for that. original budget amount.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Just give me a comment about this and discussion. It's very important that we get these radios at this time. With the reconstruction of the Veterans Memorial Bridge, it's going to be imperative that our emergency people, whoever they may be, our public works folks, police department, emergency management team, that they're able to talk with across the river with York County. And these new radios will have bandwidth and will allow us to have that contact back and forth with York County. And as we move forward, in the discussion we had, we probably will look at a unified channel that we will use for any actions that happen out there, so that both sides, York County and Lancaster County, can get in on that channel, cut out the other interference with the other channels. So they're coming in. We were fortunate to get a good price at this time, and they're coming right at the right time when we're going to need them the most. But then in regular police work, to be able to converse with York County, and Chief might want to elaborate on that, the difficulties we have talking back and forth across the river.
Well, I spoke about that previously. In this day and age, it's important for interoperability, for us to be able to communicate with York County. We have emergency units that go across the bridge for incidents, maybe a pursuit type situation, and they're unable to communicate with the county 911 over there. So, this is an important step for us. First time in the history of the department that we'll be able to communicate directly with York County and not having a patch, which results in a delay.
Mark, I see that after this, it takes the balance of the ARPA funds pretty low. And I was just wondering if you could remind me, do we have anything pending that we thought, that would be a good ARPA fund project? Anything pending?
This isn't the balance of the ARPA fund, this is just the one line item in that fund. There's $24,000 left of the $125,000 we budgeted for new radios. That's all it's saying. So we still have money left in the ARPA account.
Yeah, but the 24,000?
No, that's only the one line item within that account.
Okay,
We
gotcha.
have several $100,000 left in that account, but that's been earmarked as, to help pay the bond forward that we talked about in last year's budget.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So I have some questions on the radios. Highway Department. I understand residents and on the bridge. Do you guys use radios all the time?
We do with, during special events or inclement weather.
And then, I don't see the need for code compliance either. Do we provide phones?
We have phones for them. Code has just 2 radios, and again, they're for bad weather or special events. When Code is involved with those events, we have them available. The other thing is that there's been times where we've had larger special events where Jay has come in and borrowed the Code ones to use for those things. So to me, it's just to have them available as needed. So we have them now, we have used them on occasion.
So I have a question on that. How old are the radios that we have now?
9 years old?
Same age, no.
Same age.
The radios that we have now is be used for codes and for public works. Will they work well with the new ones that we're getting for the police
They're
department?
the same unit that we're saying. We want the interoperability of having the same.
I mean, are the old ones that we have now,
They can
would they
work.
be, because perhaps maybe what you're thinking is public works, and maybe codes doesn't need to talk to York County. Are the radios that we have here for inter-borough use still connect to the police department?
The current ones we have, yeah. But again, what we're looking at is the bigger picture of having the consistent equipment. I'll go back to the fact that if Jack has to bring in extra people, we need extra radios, we'll have them. If there's a large event, Jay's has fully staffed EOC, we need extra people out there to be able to talk. These radios that will be assigned to Public Works and or Code could then be used in those incidents, because they're all the same equipment.
I agree with that. I agree with that logic. I think it was a good question.
Chief, do you believe the new radios will last as long as these, the 9?
I do.
Because we don't know when this bridge project's starting. Might be 9 years.
In a couple years.
The next iteration of the radios, until that gets underway.
I don't have a problem with buying the 9 radios. I just didn't think the highway department code compliance was necessary. But, you know, if you want to save the servers, that's fine.
Well, I would agree, like, the emergency management team, we talk about, tabletop scenarios, what happens if some kind of spill or incident happens on the railroad tracks down here, something big, something massive. I could absolutely see where having a lot of equipment that works well together without issues, without trying to do workarounds in the middle of an incident, is a better option. And we're getting the first deal, to be honest with you. I mean, it's still expensive, but we're getting them at a great deal, and now's the time to do it. It's a line item. We're getting it cheaper than we anticipated, and we're getting more and saving money all at the same time. You couldn't ask for a better scenario.
2 issues the police department is finding itself in is when these radios are actually breaking more frequently, and they're extremely expensive to get fixed. And the second thing is we're running into battery issues. Like today, this morning, I took a battery off of my radio. I'm the only one who uses these 2 batteries, and the snap actually broke on it. So basically inoperable, it can't be fixed. And it doesn't make sense to continue to buy batteries for outdated equipment.
Eric, I am glad you brought it up about the code, because I was wondering too, I wasn't aware they had them, but now that we've discussed it, I think does make sense. But I was wondering the same thing, so I thought it was a good question to ask.
On the brief, it says a quantity of 10, not 9.
Correct.
Is that?
They quoted us for 10. Well, we went around and asked everyone, there's 9 needed.
Okay.
So we'll take 1 off that.
Okay.
All right.
And it did say somewhere here, didn't it, not to exceed 26,000?
Correct.
So do we know an exact price yet?
Well, I think if we go with 9, and as long as there's nothing else, following the brief, when you see the pricing summary, it will be something 9 instead of 10 radios.
From your point as well, this project down here, I don't think it could be too prepared.
And there have been times, I've been here, when every radio we had called Cookie Borough was being used.
Correct.
And we were looking for a couple more.
Well, honestly, we're seeing more and more big events as well. So, and now that we're getting into the habit of, setting up the EOC for all these big events and stuff like that, I think it's helpful.
And cell phones are nice, but when you're operating a snowplow or a piece of equipment, you don't want hands-on. You don't want hands-on a cell phone trying to talk and dial numbers. You want to be able to talk on the radio.
Are there any further questions? Does anyone feel the need to wait on this? No? All right. Would anybody like to make a motion to authorize borough staff to purchase portable radios using the police radio contract?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And I have a motion by Councilperson Stoll, second by Councilperson Price, to authorize borough staff to purchase portable radios using the police radio contract. Are there any other comments on this? Eric, you look like you want to say something, so I'm sitting here like,
You just a second to think about it.
You know, you asked for 26,000. 10 is still less than 26,000. The way you justify it to me is by the emergency management vehicle. Because if there's 7 or 10 radios in there, they can easily be handed out to the highway department. They can be handed out to additional police force. They can be handed out to anybody. That's the whole idea of the incident command center. To say for codes or for highway department, I struggle with that. But if you're going to buy 9, you might as well buy 10. I mean, the story here seems to be
well, they were already buying 9.
the quote for 10 is still under 26,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, for $500 or $1,500, this doesn't make sense. But I mean, like I said, I'm in favor of it. I totally get the emergency management side of the whole thing. It just, the reason why just kind of bugs me. I mean, I'd be happy if we gave the Jack and Jack's hat on too, either way, you know. At a price like this, you can't buy enough. So to have extra inventory. But, just a judgment, please, has a little twist in it.
I agree. I was really, yeah.
Well, you know, for codes, if you're out there and you're running down an alley and the dog's hot on your head, you're not going to stop and dial your phone to the police. Or if someone is getting a little out of hand, you're not going to be able to dial your phone, but you can get on the radio and get an officer just like that, rather than calling into dispatch, have the dispatcher dispatch an officer. By then, you're bit or someone's on top of it.
How often do you folks face situations like that when they're out? You know, where you...
I just want to be clear, the code life is not you taking your life in your hands every time you're out there doing inspections. Does it occur? It does. There are times where you get into a difficult situation. Our code staff and Paulo tested this is well trained, so that if they feel like they're going into a difficult situation, they contact the police department, a uniformed officer goes out with them, and if not available, they wait until he or she is available and they go out together. So it's not like they're training them every day, they're out in the field. I don't want to mislead anybody. They're available if they need them, have to use them a few times. But again, Eric probably should have written it in another way, simply say that it's added stock for us, because we do during the multiple special events that we have, we're out there and these radios come in handy. It is handy. During a large event, we'll grab all of them, the charges, put them in the EOC, and we have them available for that, absolutely.
I agree. I was just going to say, I think if you, it's the framework of the motion, right? And the rationale behind them, if it was flip-flopped, it would make so much more sense.
Right.
If the motion were, hey, we need radios for emergency management, and we're not being used for emergency management, wouldn't it be a great idea for codes and public works? Right?
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Do you want to change it to 10?
You're voting on something that says you will allow for $26,000. The quote is for 10 and 25.6. So you're still under your $26,000. I mean, it just doesn't, again, like you said, you know,
I would go with 10.
it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll modify the motion
Modify the motion
to
to
include the
10.
quantity up to $26,000.
You're okay with that? Jeremy? So we have a motion by Councilperson Stahl, second by Councilperson Price, to authorize Borough staff to purchase 10 portable radios using the police radio contract. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
Thank
Get
you.
yourself some radios. Next, we have a special event request for Ashley Tabernacle to close South Fifth Street.
You won't have the revised one in front of you.
Yeah, it's,
The street
actually, they
change.
want to close South Fifth Street between Avenue K to Union and then from Union to Avenue N, leaving the intersection of Union Street open for traffic. And I think, and that'll be it'll be Saturday, July 29th. Yeah, I think they had this last year too.
It's been for another year, but not expanded to the other side of Union.
Right. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Well, let me say to Pastor Scott, thank you for working with Chief to solve some of the difficulties in this. I think we're all excited about seeing this happen and the three churches working together for this event, but realizing that Union Street is a major collector. And I think the chief may have told you that he's working to have some parking enforcement officers there, possibly there, or crossing guards there to assist.
And again, I want to say thank you. Just listening to the way that you business, you know, we love Columbia too, and appreciate the conversations that are around the table. I was with my mom this week in Baltimore, and they had a cookout, a block party cookout where 30 people were shot and 2 were killed. And they had no permit, and the police didn't even know. There was over 200 people there, and the police didn't even know. And I just said, this could never happen in Columbia. And somebody should have known. And so while some of these conversations may be Greek to me, I value what I hear and the differences of opinions. And to the point that it's not so much that we always need things right now, but we don't want to have to need them and don't have them. And everything is upgraded. Nobody's getting up and changing the remote on their phone anymore. And I couldn't imagine a police who needs help trying to use a cell phone to call for help. And I can't imagine some of the things that the people around this table have to do that some of us don't have to do. And I just pray that you keep that kind of balance and sensitivity toward, especially our law enforcement, because I just can't see how they do it. And we don't have, all of them are great and all of them are perfect, but I just value the ones that we have in our community. And thanks, Chief. We've been having our Black Party for years, probably about 13 years. It's growing, and if ever we needed it, I think now it is, because our community is sort of got a cloud over it. And most people, there's a lot of mental health talk about people stressed and people having problems. I think Ms. Barb brought me to the table of a group of people who are trying to find some solutions to the community. And some of us have partnered together with Mount Zion and Pastor Dave and Pastor Harris next door. It's not just in Fifth Street churches that care. And our concern is that while we're building up downtown and we love what you're doing, don't forget the poor and don't forget the rest of the community. And it makes it tenuous when people complain that we got to block off one street and they block off a whole street, streets of streets, for something they think is important. But when you're a majority, you don't have to respect minorities. You don't have to value people who don't live like you live and see like you see it and have what you have. And that's where I value our mayor and chief of police and some of the others that I've met, Mark and others, who make this community a level playing field regardless to who you are. And so we have like Mount Zion, St. Paul, Pastor Hearns, Pastor Pyle. It's a group of us. We're gonna shut down the street, put some bounties up, give away some food. We're gonna have hopefully the firehouse, because there's been some fires in the community. And it's a good time to teach people what to do when they have a fire. And we've asked the chief to help working with us. I try to put him on the spot. He's kind of integrated when he's not doing what he does. But people need to hear that he's a human being and how great he is as the police chief in our community. And he will speak to them for a few minutes. But we want people to come out. We're having a yard sale. We're going to allow them to do yard sales on their own front. We're not trying to profit off of them. But we want people to get out and come around. Our community is transitional, and people move a lot, and people don't know each other. They don't trust each other, and they certainly don't always help each other. And building community is hard, just like it is making decisions in here. But we are working toward it. So thank you for the support that you're giving us, along with Triple E and the other organizations that are working together, trying to make a difference in our community. And thank you for tearing down the house that was burned, because in our block there's 4 vacant houses, and none of us would love to have 4 burnt up vacant houses in their block. I know that many of you would not allow that. But in poor communities, we often don't have a voice. And if we don't have people like down there and Bart and the officer, we don't have much of a voice, because we're not at this table. And again, not all people feel like that, but some people have an arrogance when you don't have nothing to bring to the table, and when you're poor. And I was called to pastor poor people and to love all people. A mom would beat the daylights out. You want to see Jesus? Laugh at somebody, don't care what color they is, who was especially handicapped. In my upbringing, we were taught to love people and respect all people. And many people care about this community. So thank you all. They have never turned our back. You never turned your back on trying to help us when we come, say we got a problem in the community. Sometimes people need to tell you that their neighbor is selling drugs. And if you get a relationship, they'll tell you, because they love their neighborhood too. So we just thank you, and we have Evangelist Jan and our group. It's not one group. We hope you have a good day. We're going to try to get everybody out, yard sale, and not because we want to buy, just to get them out the house and to have something of excitement and inspiring and has energy in our community. Because none of us know what it's like not to go on a vacation all summer, not to go to the beach. But we got kids in our neighborhood who don't go to the beach, who don't go to cabins, who don't go to amusement parks, and they get their fun from what's around here. And some of us care about that. So we give them bouncies and we give them food and we partner together. And that's our heart. And so thank you again for this time and appreciate everything. Thanks for the conversations that we're trying to do with the fire department. And because the person who's burned out is homeless. He has kids and he's got some problems. We all do. But he's homeless.
Pastor, you may have heard me mention earlier in the meeting about the land bank and the work that we're doing with the redevelopment authority and the land bank. The 4 homes you mentioned were the topics of discussion last night.
Yep.
About the ones that were just demolished. Wait till you see what's going to wind up there. And then the other 2 we're working on acquiring to rebuild those homes.
Sure. And I read something about COVID that when America catches the flu, African American and poor communities get pneumonia. And when that one church across from us has been vacant for 3 years, and it's been a source of stress because we worry about kids who come home from school and some of the deranged people in all of our communities. And none of us would tolerate a house vacant in our block for 3 years. And sometimes when you pour, and I'm grateful, and I mean it with all my heart, I say anybody is my mayor, and he's a good man. And he only can give us so much. And I've seen him get in these meetings and have to fight for, not that it happened today, paper clips or something. And he's just a good man, and he's good for us. And so what I am saying is some things, it takes us a long time for that we wouldn't to get to when it's not really us. But when it's, if it was our block, which it was actually 4 vacant houses. The 2 is just been burned down, 1 is vacant, and the other 2 is somebody made them fix things up and put everybody out while it was being repaired. And none of us would have that in their block. And yet we live like this every day. And we always hear, wait, it's coming. And so thank you for including whatever you do for that side. We love across the street, and we love Columbia. In fact, we're trying to get shirts that says, we love Columbia, because we do. So thank you. Any comments, questions for me, for us?
I know you got a special in with the guy up above, but did you consider a rain date?
No, we never had a rain date. We don't usually do, but we will consider one. And if we do, we have to go through the whole process over again?
Yeah.
Or how do we?
No, just let us know.
Just let us know. Once it's approved, just let us know.
Okay. And
I don't want to see it,
no,
if it would happen to rain, oh man, now we lost a whole year. No.
we are fortunate. You said we got a little connection, but we can't control it. And we didn't want to wait because some of the other partners, we're trying to do things together instead of one person. Let's put aside differences and come together. So we're going to support the guy with the book bag giveaway for the community and some other things that people are doing. And that's why we kind of pushed it for where we are. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time you gave me.
Thank you. Jack, just a note, if because it's not on here, if you do use crossing guards on Union Street, please make sure that those costs get added in for the true cost of the event then.
Yes.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Yes, please come to the microphone.
Hi, Amy Kellers. I love this land bank idea. I was wondering if there are plans yet for the one that burned down near 13th and Manor. There was a big fire, that house burned down. Are there plans for that house? It was a rental. And they left.
I don't believe that's, hasn't even been talked about at the land bank.
Is that something that is like?
1330 Manor.
Yeah.
It's in progress.
Okay.
So
Is that something that
work's
takes
being
like
done.
from start to finish? Since I'm pretty new to all this, is this like a years long thing?
It can be.
Was there 2 houses involved in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Okay,
split. It
good,
was a
because it's
duplex.
1328, 1330. Yeah, they're both staying in progress.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great. Does anyone have any questions about the facilities use request? Would anybody like to make a motion this evening to approve the facilities use request for Ashley Tabernacle to close South 5th Street from Avenue N to Union and Avenue
So
K to Union? All right. I had to think about it. I have a motion by Councilperson Fisher, second by Councilperson Price, to approve the facilities use request for Ashley Tabernacle to close South 5th Street from Avenue K to Union and Avenue N to Union on Saturday, July 29th, 2023. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, we'll just consider Joanne yes, since she seconded the motion. All right, staff reports, comments, and announcements. Solicitor Gable.
I don't have too much tonight. As we discussed last meeting, we'll have our lead report, our quarterly lead report. I've also asked Mark to put an executive session on the agenda for that meeting, just because there are a couple of those that I think we need to discuss possible action moving forward. So just be on the lookout for that. You'll see the lead report in the packet next week or 2 weeks from now. So.
Engineer Ronaldo.
So we had a long discussion at the workshop meeting last week, and just let everybody know, started working on that ordinance. We're going to keep moving that forward, and I will feed staff and council bits and pieces of that as it starts to take shape. I also wanted to make a request, maybe more of an announcement, but I'll say request, is I would like at your next workshop meeting, which is going to be Thursday, August 3rd, I'd like to hold a public meeting for the 100-200 block of Walnut Street. The last time we did that was quite a while ago. We kind of had one information session as part of a council meeting, I must say about a year ago. And maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago is when we had an actual meeting down at Columbia Crossings where we invited all the residents. So as part of our PennDOT approval process, and just because, again, it's been a while, we want to do a formal public meeting for that project to bring everybody up to speed on what we've done. The lighting plan is done, the traffic study is done, the PennDOT submission is with Ritu right now, the county consultant for this process, and as soon as Ritu gives it its blessing, it'll go to PennDOT for final approval. And then just the last step we'll have is the final plans and specs. But once it goes to PennDOT and gets approved, it'll lock in the concept, and then it's just the boring paperwork from there on out. So we're still targeting 2024 construction for that project.
Secretary Treasurer, Mr. Stivers.
Nothing else to add tonight, thank you. I know.
All right. There we get closer and closer. Boards, commissions, and committees. In your or upcoming meetings, there's HARB tomorrow evening on the 12th. The Parks and Rec for this month has been canceled. Planning Commission is on the 18th. And there was a budget meeting scheduled for the 20th. We put that on at the very beginning of the year. There is, we are not having that. That will be also marked as canceled. And the Shade Tree Commission meets on the 24th. Borough Council comments. We can start over here with Councilperson Borough.
Sure, thank you. We had some good conversation tonight about radios and communication between emergency agencies. That's great. Equally as important is communication between the borough and the residents. Text My Gov. If you know somebody that doesn't have Text My Gov, tell them to go to the website. Instructions are on there. Text the borough, and you will be part of the communication stream. So Text My Gov.
Councilperson Fisher.
Nothing for me.
Councilperson Copeland.
I do have one comment. At our last workshop meeting, the mayor brought up about fireworks. I just want to say, I thought fireworks were very good this year. You heard them, 3 nights or whatever, where ordinance calls for. But outside that, it was fairly good. So I appreciate the citizens staying within the bounds as best they could. I know it's got to send them up, you know. Yeah, I know we get a lot of complaints about year-long fireworks. This year was very well maintained or behaved or respected or whatever you want to say.
I think with 14 citations and several notices, we probably will get a little better next year.
We set the tone that
Yeah.
we're serious.
So, thanks everybody, and the people of Columbia.
Councilperson Whitmer.
I just wondered, I don't remember why we were canceling budget meetings.
Well, originally, I had this discussion this morning with Tammy and Mark. I think, originally when those were on the schedule, they were the holdover from previous council, and that's where they were doing the quarterly reviews to do budget adjustments. And, you know, that's one of those things that is not recommended by audit, is to do budget adjustments throughout the year, because then how can you see where you set your budget? You don't want to keep changing the line items. Like before, they would change the line items to increase it if it looked like we were going over budget. We want to show at the end of the year where we went over budget and things like that. We don't want to just keep adjusting them. So we're not doing those budget adjustments now, so there's no need to have that meeting.
Okay.
So we'll have the first budget meeting will be their normal one in September.
September. Okay.
Yeah.
And tomorrow night is a Columbia Cat Action Team meeting here in this room, Freeway Locust at 5:30.
Councilperson Price.
Thank you.
Nothing. I wanted to let council know, I saw an email from PSAB. Next month, there is a series of 3 webinars discussing complete streets. So it kind of tied in with what we were talking about last week. If anyone has an interest to learn more about the complete streets, look up that webinar on PSAB, because I imagine that, actually it is a good one, because I think I took that last year. I think I did that one last year. Yeah, it is a good one. And along with the budget meeting and the questions on that, I also wanted to let you guys know, I know we had talked about before bringing in someone from the state to look at the budget and help us with that and so forth and everything. We talked to Alyssa about this when we were reviewing when we were reviewing the audit report. And the stuff that we've already started is exactly what that consultant would come in and tell us to do. And that is what Tammy's been doing, and we'll have them all ready to go for the first budget meeting in September. But what she's doing is she's pulling out every department and showing the revenue and the expenditures related to each individual department. So we can see, are our fees truly paying for the service that they're providing? Like, that's what your standard is with your codes and your zoning fees and all of that. But that's what that consultant would tell you to do and everything. And then from there, they would say, okay, so here's where you're overspending, or here's where you're not. You have to adjust this. Alyssa's feeling was we would not get value out of spending money to try and save money. And I trust her. So, I mean, we're continuing to do the work that has been started with doing those individual. I've seen a couple of the departments. It's very informative. We can truly see where the money is going and where it's actually coming in, where we're generating our revenue. I mean, we can pay a consultant to come in and say, you either have to increase your revenue or you have, somehow you have to increase your revenue. How are you going to do it? We already know that. So, I mean, if we still want to pursue it, I kind of agree with Alyssa that it's not really, we're not going to get the value that we think we're going to get by bringing someone in, since we're already doing the work that the consultant would tell us to do. And also, we're targeting the fourth quarter of this year to possibly be able to present something concrete on contracting with Edmunds to bring in their AR module instead of the Skynet system that we have now, to make things a little more streamlined. We're trying to, we got the pricing on it, and we want to do a little more analysis on time savings for the internal people, but it will definitely help to make things a little more efficient and a little more accurate. And then along with that, we would also be able to get the module to do online payments, which people have been asking about. And that would help us because it would integrate directly with the AR system. So that would be awesome. So look for more information on that to come, probably in the third quarter with, a startup of the fourth quarter. But it's just, trying to work through that, all that information now. I think we looked at several different things. Edmund seems to be about the best. Joanne and I talked to them up at the conference, and they were very helpful to us there. I've watched a couple of their videos showing their AR module, and it does seem like it will be much more effective for us than what we are using now. So look for that to come.
Could I ask you something? I do want to say that I appreciate that you brought this forward and told council about it, because I wasn't aware that you were really even discussing having a consultant come in this last audit. I didn't hear about it with this, during the audit when she presented it, I didn't hear anything about that.
No, we didn't say anything about it then, because honestly, I forgot about it that night. But that was something that council had talked about last year during the budget. Yeah, during the budget
This
thing.
current situation, I didn't realize we were discussing that. And I feel better that you brought it up. I just wondered if, it should have been done a little like an agenda item, or when we all could have talked about it or gave feedback, because it was done at the end of the meeting when we're doing the roundtable. It just seems like.
Well, I mean, if you guys would prefer to have a discussion on it at the workshop or the next meeting to talk about hiring them or to bring them in, I mean, we can certainly do that. But like I said, I kind of felt like Alyssa was she was like, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to spend money to have someone come in and tell you to raise taxes.
And I understand, I do understand what you're saying. And going back with all due respect to everybody here, I'm not trying to open a can of worms, but that wasn't the story before when we had some unaccounted for money during the one audit. We weren't asked what our feelings were about a forensic audit. We were told it wasn't going to be done because it would cost too much, but we were never
Well-
given any numbers of what too much is.
Well, that forensic audit, actually, we found out you can't choose to do one of those unless you charge someone with a crime.
Oh.
And we had said that back then too. You can't do it unless you, unless you are going to charge someone with a crime. You can't just choose to do the forensic audit.
Okay. Okay, well, I just appreciate that we're included in the discussion. So, thank you.
Yeah, so there's lots in the works in the finance department, but nothing concrete yet. But we're still working through some things, and the September budget meeting should be good. Everyone should start thinking about what priorities and everything we have for next year, so that we can start. So when we do start those budget meetings, we're prepared to talk about, where we want the money to go and what priorities we have and everything else. All right, announcement of next meeting at 7 p.m. on July 25th. Council will hold a regular meeting. Could I have a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Price, second by Councilperson Stahl, to adjourn the meeting at 8:02 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.